Hey guys, it's Steven here back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Mr. Eric Garcia and other transfer news going around, because I opened my laptop after some lunch and looked at the news and it wasn't good news, allegedly. We're going to talk about Eric Garcia and Kevin De Bruyne and a few other little bits of information. I throw some non-transfer stuff at the end of this video, but I still wanted to call it the transfer target, so you just have to live and deal with that, unfortunately. I'm sure you're actually probably not even bothered, but I'm pretending that you are. Anyway, let's go to this news about Eric Garcia. Now this comes from Guillem Balag, and he said that Eric Garcia wants to join Barcelona, and City are aware of this. Apparently City are talking to the La Liga side about selling the player, because City know Garcia could leave on a free for next summer. In terms of personal details of the player, everything is in place. Now, Balag reckons that Barca want him, and Garcia is agreed, and Garcia is going to leave next summer. My initial reaction to this is, obviously, if this was true, this would be absolutely devastating. But I'm also cynical of it, being totally honest. For one, Guillem Balag, his general reputation, he's not that reliable. He's kind of known for saying quite dramatic things and often kind of getting them wrong. And the fact that he works for Sport now, basically a trashy kind of tabloid over in Spain. Also, potentially, he's a bit of a mouthpiece for Barcelona, which I guess may lend some credibility to it, but he's often saying things that look positive in the press for Barcelona, because he gets fed that kind of information. Now also as well, a lot of people are pointing out that according to Transfer Market, Garcia's contract does actually run out in 2022, not next summer, which means this idea that City are going to leave him on a free next summer is nonsense. I think this is possibly true, that it is 2022, because, I mean, I can't say for certain, none of us actually can say, but I feel like we would have heard a little bit more by now about Garcia's future if his contract only had 12 months left to go. I don't think that's true. It doesn't really make any sense for me. Garcia is a fantastic young player, as we know, and Garcia, even though he's nowhere near the finished product, one thing Garcia's got to his game that we all love is that kind of that steadiness, that composure, that maturity that belies his youthful years. And Garcia leaving at this stage would be a massive, massive blow to Manchester City. Personally, I'm not sure if he will. I think he came to Manchester City for a reason. He came to Manchester City because he felt that he could learn from Guardiola and get a chance here and play for Manchester City. Barcelona are in an absolute state compared to where they were previously. If anything, Barcelona are a much worse off club now than when he left them. And it doesn't make sense that he's going to walk out now and go to Manchester City. He could have been playing B team football now at a higher level than he has done for a couple of years now for Barcelona. So why did he leave Barcelona only to join them back in a few years later? Maybe he wants to. I mean, he is a young lad locally. He has played for their academy a lot, so it would make a lot of sense. But also, Garcia isn't a reactionary kind of lad. He's very mature, very intelligent. He's been doing his coaching badges at Manchester City. Guardiola absolutely loves him. And I think he's made a decision thinking that I want to play for Guardiola for a time. And now when he's on the cusp of breaking into Manchester City's team, why would he suddenly just give that up? I mean, for me, we know what Manchester City are like. I'm almost certain we didn't play Sane much because he knew he was going to Bayern. We know that Manchester City also didn't take Jadon Sancho on the first team pre-season tour because he hadn't signed the contract when he wanted to go to Dortmund. Guardiola does have a relative precedent of not really playing players if they feel like they're going, especially according to this comment from Balag that said that City are negotiating and selling the players to Barcelona. If we were negotiating him, would we be playing Garcia? I guess there's an argument to suggest that maybe we would be negotiating to be playing him, to convince him that his future is at Manchester City. But I don't think that's the case. I think we're playing him because Guardiola thinks he's going to be around next year and his future is at Manchester City. Now, I could be wrong, and I hope I'm not, but logic doesn't really seem to add up in this situation. We were only hearing a week or so ago that Garcia was set to sign a new contract and he'd be at Manchester City in the future. There's a few things that just don't seem to add up. One is playing time. Two, the fact that the report suggests that his contract's up next year. I could have sworn he was actually up in 2022. And also the fact that he seems like the kind of guy who would actually want to work with Guardiola for a while. I mean, it doesn't really make sense. Now, it would be a massive blow. I'm not saying he's world class or anything like that. Of course he isn't. But he's clearly an intelligent, likeable footballer with loads of potential. And he should be part of Manchester City's future going forward. Let us know what you make of this. I'm not going to get too panicky yet because it is just Guillem Balag, who's got a very questionable reputation on transfer reports. Seems like a good guy, Balag in general, but I'm not sure I believe him on this one. It seems like a very tabloid kind of rumour. We'll see. Secondly, I talk about Kevin De Bruyne. It's not that he's going anywhere, but there are lots of reports coming out today about Kevin De Bruyne's future linked with the idea of this CAS appeal. Now, Manchester City will know their fate about the Champions League ban on Monday. Monday is the D-Day. I think it is Monday anyway. It's something like that. And if Manchester City lose this ban, and it's possible, it is possible that we lose the case and we get banned for 2 years, there's going to be some very serious questions asked about Manchester City's future for some of the senior members of the squad. And that's not unfair or unreasonable. And according to this report today, Kevin De Bruyne, and this is via Sport Witness, Kevin De Bruyne would be one of those asking questions because he feels like if he was at Manchester City and we were banned, he'd be wasting 2 years of his career not playing in Europe. And given he's one of the best players in the world, would anyone blame him for not wanting to be at a club where he's not playing Champions League football? Now, according to this, though, he doesn't actually say he would be leaving. He said it would cost him about 3.5 million euros if he wasn't playing Champions League football, and he'd ask for that money to be compensated through an improved contract to continue at the club if the ban was upheld. And that seems fair enough, if we're being honest. Further to this, some insiders reckon there's about 220 million euros at stake on this verdict, and City are fearful that agents might be a lot more receptive to other clubs getting in touch and proposing offers for their players if this ban is upheld. With De Bruyne's agent potentially one of them. Once again, this is reasonable. Now, I don't think there'll be a mass exodus, but I do think it's likely that one or two players might want to leave, and who could really blame them in this instance? Because they only have short careers. They only have, a short time at the top of the game, and whether we like it or not, the Champions League is the thing that all players want to win. They want to win that. It stands over players. It defines their greatness at a domestic level, and I would not begrudge any of them if they wanted to do that. Especially De Bruyne. He's late 20s now, pushing 30, not far out of 30. I don't think he'd want to be out at the peak of his game. Now, I'm not saying he will leave, but it isn't great news. If we do get this ban, we're essentially looking down a situation where we've got players that will feel lied to by Ferran Soriano. Soriano quite famously gave that speech saying that he'd done nothing wrong, and allegedly he's reported that to the players, and he's been in saying, don't worry, we are innocent, all this kind of stuff. And some players would feel kind of lied to, maybe, if this happens, because they'll feel a little bit betrayed. And even though some may stay, unhappy players isn't good for a squad mentality. It might be that they might stay for a year and then decide to sack it off. Who knows? Now, I'm hopeful that doesn't happen, but we've got to face up to the real possibility that these rumours are going to persist until Monday about players' futures. And if it does happen and the worst comes to fruition, this idea of Manchester City holding on to everyone and everyone being a perfect, happy little group, it isn't realistic, unfortunately. I'm not saying it'll be a mass exodus, but it's going to be uncertain times for the club. Fingers crossed, Garcia doesn't leave, City don't get banned, and everyone's happy. Finally, a couple of little things I want to talk about. The IFAB apparently are considering extending the rule for 5 substitutions into next season, which will be interesting and a bit weird. I'm not sure I permanently want 5 subs, but I guess given the weird structure of the season, it might be something that is necessary given fitness and given, a lack of time between the seasons and all that kind of stuff. Also, I've always personally felt that a 4th sub should be allowed anyway, presuming the player is under a certain age, say 21 or something like that, and they are club trained and homegrown. So basically, they are a proven product of a club's academy, not just under 21, but also club trained and homegrown, basically. Essentially, to encourage academy players, clubs to use academy players in the last half an hour of a game or something like that. It's a free hit, basically. I've always felt that should happen, and I've always felt personally that's what should be happening here, like that. If it's going to be something similar next year, maybe the 5th sub could be an academy player only. It'd be good for the game, it'd be good for everyone, and it'd be a nice way to encourage substitutions while also involving academy players. It might not happen, but that's what I've always felt will happen. In fact, it definitely won't happen. Let us know what you make of that. One thing I want to see the back of is drink breaks. Fuck that off, I'm sorry, it's American nonsense. With all due respect to any Americans watching this, I saw an NHL game, an NHL game, and the amount of pauses and adverts and then in the NHL football, in NHL, in the hockey game I watched, it was in New York. It was just ridiculous. I do not want that in football. They are fit and healthy enough, and it's worked fine for decades. We don't need it in football. Especially if they've got more substitutions, I'm sorry. And finally, City, it's been confirmed that City's new home kit will be released on July the 16th at 8 a.m. British Standard Time. I'm looking forward to seeing this. I always love the new kits coming around, even though we know what it looks like. It's that cracked mess. I'm sure it'll look nicer on the players, and I always like having something to talk about with the kits. Kits are fun. They're not important in the grand scheme of things, of course, but kits are fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like on the players. It could be really apt that in the week that Manchester City could be potentially banned, we release a shirt with cracks all over it. Would there be anything more Manchester City than that? A cracked shirt for a cracked club, and it could genuinely be that Man City are cracked next season. I will say in general, by the way, if we do get this banned, and I'll do a video on this another day, the world doesn't end, you know. I guess maybe it's different for some people who are a little bit younger, but I've been watching Manchester City for an awful long time, and City have been terrible before, and they'll be terrible again at some point in the future. And the idea that City all of a sudden might just be a mid-table team for a couple of years, or just at best a top 6 team, it doesn't really fill me with dread, you know. We've had it really, really good, so we've got to have a little bit of perspective on this. It wouldn't be ideal, of course, but City aren't just going to go away overnight. We'll still have the money to buy top players. We might take a pinch for a couple of years, but when you look at what's happening at Chelsea, and they've got all these academy players coming through, and they've got one of their own managing them, it's kind of fun, you know. It can be fun. We'll still be good. We'll still be up there winning trophies occasionally. We just might have a bit of a pinch for a few years. But given everything that we've gone through, it's a pinch I'd be personally willing to take, because I guess we'd have... That was my... cat, by the way, I was playing with that. Sorry, I dropped it. It'd be something that we'd have absolutely no choice or control over. And also, don't feel responsible as well to defend the club if City are found guilty. CAS, the Court of Arbitration of Sport, are a legit thing. So if they find City guilty, we probably are guilty, unfortunately. They are legit and impartial. So if it comes to fruition that City aren't innocent, it's not our fault. We've done nothing wrong. We're just fans of the club, so remember that, guys. Anyway, I'll see you all later, hopefully for a watch along for the game later on at 6 p.m. For now, though, make sure to let me know what your comments. For now, though, make sure to let me know down in the comments what you make of this news, and I'll see you later on for another video in a bit. I also go and watch that video yesterday. It'll be right here about my 5 dream signings for Manchester City for 2020-21. See ya.